Razer has been around for a long time now and has definitely cemented their place in the gaming peripheral market. They have come a long way from their earlier designs from having a gamery aesthetic to a much simpler and cleaner look. A quick look between their earlier peripherals, for example, the Blackwidow Ultimate, and their newer items such as the Huntsman Mini, will show a huge difference. In fact, unless you already knew beforehand, you will not be able to immediately determine that the Huntsman Mini is a Razer product. And that speaks volumes to the progress that Razer has made over the years in the quality of their products and trying to reach most average consumers. Razer used to try really hard to stand out with their branding and very gamer focused vision for their products, and that turned off a lot of people from purchasing their products because that look was just not very popular. The clean and minimal look allows more people to get into their products as it makes it easier for people to mix and match their products within their gaming setup. That, in combination with the ease of access to their products and simplicity when it comes to controlling the customization of such things as their RGB effects, has made it easy to adopt the Razer ecosystem as a whole. So you're looking to upgrade, but it's been a while and maybe you're not sure where to start, but you want to stay within the Razer brand. Let's look at where Razer came from and what you could be expecting to get into with their newer product lines. This old Razer Blackwidow Ultimate is from 2014 and in fact only has green backlighting for the keys. This was right before the Chroma release that added full RGB effects and controls. I bought this at Fry's for $139.99 back when I did not know much about keyboards and the knowledge I had about gaming keyboards was very limited. All I knew were some popular streamers at the time swore by it and said it was the best gaming and typing experience. Coming from a cheap $5 keyboard from a dollar store, I wasn't too sure what to expect. All I had heard was that making the switch to a mechanical keyboard was the only way to take PC gaming seriously. So I went out and bought it, and my first impressions were, wow, it's a little obnoxious. But the typing experience on it was beyond satisfying. The clicking and tactile feel made it feel like I was really getting some work done. All the extra buttons and backlit keys at the time were amazing, and the most necessary that I felt that I needed as a gamer. So getting into this keyboard, it came with a USB, mic, and headphone pass-through, which unfortunately meant that it also came with a very thick cable and a mess of connections. Of course, once you plugged it in, it wasn't that big of a deal until you tried moving the keyboard often. Then you would find out that the cable would get in the way most of the time, especially on a smaller desk that had a very limited space for your peripherals. Next is the macro keys on the left. It was cool that I had the option to bind several things if I wanted, which to be honest, I never did. And then the backlit keys. So the font was my least favorite aspect about the keyboard, and that along with the fact that the keys only lit up green was kind of a bummer. But hey, at least I could change the brightness of the keys and essentially turn them off if I really didn't want to bother with it. Razer Synapse at the time was 2.0 and honestly left something to be desired. I almost never opened it and never really had a need for it. The program looked kinda ugly and it drew me away from ever really wanting to use it. That's not really Razer's fault though. I'm sure most people out there got a really good use from it. The keyboard overall did its job and held up 6 long years with no hiccups or problems of any sort. That really says something about Razer products. Now, moving on to the Razer Huntsman Mini, their brand new keyboard that was just released a couple weeks ago. I bought the one with the red linear optical switches as soon as it went on sale on their website and took delivery of it a couple business days after that. These switches are not like normal linear switches, as in they don't work off making contact in the inside of the key, but instead have a laser inside that detects the key's press and then activate like that. They still feel like a linear key, but work different. Yes, I know a lot of people have already made their reviews the moment they got it, and some people had earlier models before it went on sale as well. I, however, wanted to see what it felt like after using the keyboard for a couple weeks, instead of making a review after about 5 minutes of use, and to see what it's like after a break-in period. When I first pulled it out of the box, I was shocked. Yes, I knew I was getting a 60%, but damn, was the size difference a huge surprise to me. I decided to go with a 60% because honestly, I realized I just never really used all the extra keys except for on the rare occasions, but it's not like I lost all functionality of a full-sized keyboard. As you can see, all the function buttons are still there. So are all the media keys and home screen buttons, such as the page up and down and print screen. In fact, the arrow keys are there as well. And all of this easily accessed by just hitting the function button in combination with the key you want to use. I will say, however, you will need to memorize the position of these keys, because even though they are labeled, in a darker environment you absolutely cannot see them. The linear switches compared to the clickies found in the Blackwidow were night and day in terms of noise and feel. When I first tried it, the keys were almost completely silent, but after a few weeks they did get some noise and a bit rattly, although you will pretty much never notice this as you will get used to using them and your headset will drown out the sound as well. As for the feel, it was a bit difficult getting used to it because I was used to the feeling of the click to know that the button was pressed. But now I found myself bottoming out the keys all the time, and since the keys were newer, I also felt like they had more resistance to the press. I had a bit of fatigue in my fingers for about the first week or so, but adjusted to it, and now it feels completely normal. The actuating of the keys also felt a bit sensitive. I would find myself accidentally pressing the keys due to the low actuating point for the keys. And this mostly happened with my spacebar. In game, I found myself jumping accidentally often. Resting my thumb on the spacebar required me to adjust how much weight I put on it while playing. I still press it accidentally, but not as much as I did at the start. Overall, I don't see myself going back to clickies, as linear just feel a lot better overall to me now. Moving on to Synapse 3.0. The program looks a lot cleaner and more up to date, modern compared to the old one. Chroma Studio is definitely my favorite part due to the amount of options available in terms of what you can do with the RGB effects. I mainly wanted to change the colors on individual keys and keep that static. It was incredibly easy to use. I was in and out in less than 2 minutes. The low actuation point was barely even noticeable, and I did not see a huge difference compared to the Blackwidow. I will again state that they felt a lot more sensitive, as in I had to be a little more mindful of the key press. Now let's hear the keyboards back to back. I will be using my headset mic to record the keyboard, as this is going to give you a better idea of what others will hear while you use the keyboard during a call or an in-game chat. So overall, in conclusion, Razer has made big strides in their products, and I have full faith that this keyboard will last just as long as my previous if I needed to. Was the upgrade worth it? Yes, no doubt. Could I have bought something else? Sure, but if you just want something that works right out of the box with minimal setup, unlike some other keyboards, then you might like this keyboard. Thank you for watching this quick overview of the Razer Huntsman Mini in comparison to the old Razer Blackwidow Ultimate. If you like this video, please consider giving the video a like and subscribing. I'll see you in the next one.